What's up, guys? It's Mike from Second Form Strength here. I'm back with another daily video. So it's a Saturday night here, and I have work tomorrow morning, start of the work week for me. Luckily for me, I've taken 3 days. I'll wait for that motorbike. Yeah, alright. Thanks, mate. I have 3 days leave that I've put in for. So I will just have 2 days at work this week, and then I'll have 3 days leave. And as I said in the previous video, it has begun in terms of working out what my next move is, because I've essentially put in a month's notice for leaving my job. So by the 19th of April, I will no longer be working at my current job, and I'll be on to bigger and better things. So yeah, that's exciting. But I wanted to kind of make this video to illustrate that of course I've done these things before where I have kind of like quit something to find something better. And I apologize if you hear some noises in the background. I'm on my balcony. I live in the middle of the city, pretty much, and it's a Saturday night. So as you can imagine, things get a little weird. You might hear some crazy noises, but hopefully the mic picks me up well enough that you can hear what I'm saying. But I've done this before where I've had jobs that I've worked for a certain period of time, we'll say, and I can work out usually pretty quickly whether a job is going to lead to anything for me, whether it's a good fit for a while or whether it's not. As I said before, me personally, I kind of started in a entrepreneurial position. I did work at Kmart for 3 years when I first was still in school and just leaving school. Out of school, I worked at Kmart. But then from that point on, for the next 10 years, I was always in small businesses, so I wasn't really working for big organizations. It was only recently, until in the last 4 years, that kind of changed. But regardless, in that last 4 years, I've probably had about 4 or 5 different jobs. And I feel like for me, I mentioned this book before, The Way of the Superior Man, I remember the author now, I believe it was David Deida. And he talks about the concentric rings of purpose in terms of finding your purpose as a man involve, is it concentric rings or it's concentric layers? He pretty much talks about you have to break through these layers of outer purpose that don't mean as much. And as you get closer and closer in, the purpose becomes more and more meaningful, like you're getting closer to your true meaning. But you have to go through these phases to find out what your meaning is. Kind of, to me, what that's saying is you kind of have to throw stuff in the air. And a big part of throwing stuff at the wall and what that entails is that it takes a certain kind of energy to be able to consistently do this. The thing with me is, I would like to say I had an okay amount of energy, and if you're watching this video, maybe you're like me. I kind of was semi-active, always at the gym. I would lift, but I would never really care much about what I ate. I would just focus on eating kind of, I need protein, but then it was also like, well, I don't care if I eat junk or processed shit, as long as I'm lifting and eating good, as long as I don't weigh too much and look too fat, it's okay because I got muscle and I'm bulky. I'm bulking. That's kind of what I tell myself a lot of the time. So I wasn't necessarily grotesque to look at, but I also was not fit at all, and I definitely, even though I had some energy, I definitely felt like there was a lot more energy I could have. And I always wanted to see, I always saw those dudes that were really ripped, really in good shape, and that all of them always seemed to at least, unless they were just some junkie that just happened to have insane genetics, but sometimes you say, trust me, you see shirtless dude junkies walking around, and you're like, dude, you're ripped, what's your workout program? He's like, bro, I just live under a bridge and fucking do pull-ups fucking under the bridge every day and just fight dudes for coke. You're like, all right, well, it's working for you. But anyway, like, apart from that, apart from being a genetic freak, most of the time, when you live that certain kind of lifestyle, yeah, you're not going to have the energy you could have. And yeah, I'd always see these dudes that are ripped, and for the most part, they would always be in good shape, and it also seemed like they're always doing. And now that I think about it, I guess, and I could be wrong with this, but I feel like any dude I see that's in real good shape, and he's, let's say, in his 30s or 40s, he's always usually pursuing something that's his own. Like, it's either an online coaching business, of course, because, fitness, we kind of gravitate towards that. You tend to, once you prove to yourself you can get to a certain level, I think there are a number of us dudes that just gravitate towards wanting to help other people. Because this kind of, the people that can successfully do this transformation and sustain it and be able to teach others are the kind of people that enjoy learning about this stuff anyway, who would be doing it for free. So that's why, for me, getting back to what I was saying with concentric rings of purpose and layers, I feel like if you're a person who maybe you have a decent job, and like I said, you're okay with the gym and whatnot, but you feel like you have a passion that you're pretty good at, or there's something that you've always wanted to pursue, that you understand a lot, that you have a lot of knowledge on, and that you will do for free anyway, like you're obsessed about. But you never really believed in yourself enough to make money, or, which is what this video is talking about, is you never felt like you had the energy. You always felt like you lacked the energy. You always looked at side hustles, let's call them, or something that involved a way to get out of the rat race, so to speak, at 9 to 5. And you would look at it and you'd go, and I did this, you'd look at it and you'd go, I already have to spend, 8 to 10 hours, 5 days, some of us 6 days a week at a job that I really don't like doing, but it pays the bills. And in between that, and like I said, if you're still going to the gym, maybe you're going four times a week. On top of going to the gym 4 times a week and working the job that I don't really like, I don't really have any energy to go then and hustle and do all these posts on Instagram and reach out and do ads and build these programs and try these online techniques, and research all this stuff and put in all these extra hours on top of that to get my social media presence growing for my business and hand out all these. I don't have the energy to do all that. Like, just thinking about that, you feel overwhelmed. And that's why most of us never start. But what if I told you that in order to unlock that energy, you need to transform your body? Trust me. I honestly think that the key to getting on the right track and getting started to actually, if you're someone who, you're sick of being in the rat race, let's say, you're sick of being in the 9 to 5 and feeling like, and I was talking to my mate about this the other day actually, he feels the same way, and he is actually looking to transform his body. So we had a real good talk yesterday about it, and I've kind of offered some help to him, so we'll see how that goes over the next few months. I'll keep you guys updated on that. And if you want coaching from me, Instagram, Second Form Strength, just send me a message and we'll get started. I would love to help. And at the moment, it's free. So what do you have to lose? Absolutely nothing. Send me a message on there. But anyway, me and my mate were talking and we were like, yeah, like, we just want more than anything freedom. Like, money is nice, but even if we just had enough money to be able to pay our bills and maybe have some extra money to put towards saving, or having disposable money to go, that if you want to say, okay, I want to go, like, having the freedom and the money to go, okay, for the next week or for the next 2 to 3 weeks, I just want to go to Bali, or I just want to go to this country, spend some time there, and while I'm in that country, I'm not thinking, oh shit, I'm using up 3 weeks of my fucking 4 weeks of annual leave that I get every year. Oh no, I can't do this again for another year. It's like, no, I can do this anytime I want. If I decide to grind and make some more money, I can do this in another month if I wanted. It's really up to me. And I think that's what we're looking for. It's like, at least me and my mate, and maybe some of you guys too, it's like, you're very competent. And a lot of the times, a lot of us work in businesses where the people that are making the real good money, we look at them and we're like, we're more competent than you are. Like some of the systems you're putting in place here, we don't follow them. We're doing certain things our own way. At least I did in terms of cleaning at this current place I'm at, in terms of my routines, you know. I had my own routine that would get stuff done quick, and all the store members, everyone loved it. But anytime I would get someone from upper management coming in to train people, it would be their routine, which would end up leaving us trying to clean the store or clean half of the store while customers were in it, which is just not efficient at all. Whereas my routine would have all of the shop floor clean before the customers would even enter the shop, before the shop would even open. It would utilize the most of the hour we have before the shop opens to get the floor clean. But like even that, and then you look at that and you go, okay, well this person they brought in to train us to do the proper routine, they're getting maybe 160,000 a year, and we're getting what, 40,000? Not even 30,000 a year. I think I get at this job, 40,000 maybe. Like that's nuts. Why would I not go follow something I'm passionate in? Of course I'm going to be more competent, and it's up to me how much money I make. Of course it's going to be hard, and this is the thing, guys. I'm not saying this is going to be easy, but when you have that mindset, usually what's missing, and what's missing for me, was the thing is I always had these thoughts, and my mate did too. This is why we're mates. We always had these thoughts for the longest time, for probably the past 10 years, let's say. Maybe not the past, let's really say the past 5 years, you know? And the problem was that there was always an energy deficiency there. You know, I always felt like I said before, you spend so much of your energy at your job, you spend so much energy giving it to someone else. Like you spend a lot of that. That's 8 hours a day. We have 24 hours in a day. That's a third of your day that you're giving to someone else, essentially. A third of your time for 5 days out of the week for the foreseeable future, however many years. Just think about that. But regardless, in doing that, a lot of us, most of us aren't in the shape we should be, and we're not in that 10 to 15% body fat range. And I would really say you should ideally aim for the 10 to 12% body fat range, but a lot of people aren't in that range. So already you're in an energy gap compared to someone that is. And I'll tell you that as someone that was, 28% body fat, that is now around 11, 10. I could be 10, I've had a high carb day recently where I refueled, so the weight's gone up a bit from glycogen or whatever, but pretty much I'm around 10% body fat. So going from 28 to 10, I can tell you that the energy is crazy. And this is the reason why I'm not just saying this to you guys, I'm going to be proof of it. I don't know how long it's going to take, but like I said, my job, I'm leaving it in the month. I have debt. I don't have backup savings. I don't have a job lined up yet. But all I have is my will, the fact that I've proven I can go through this body transformation myself, which is very rare. Not many people get to 10% body fat. I mean, there are more people that are millionaires than have six packs. Google it. You know what I mean? So I've got this self-belief. And the other thing is, it's just the energy, because you do need a certain amount of, I'll say, chutzpah, of drive to go and do the things that are required to make what you're passionate about replace your 9 to 5, to get yourself out of the rat race. You have to have the energy to sustain, to persevere. But it's very hard to do that when you haven't proven to yourself that you can get in the best shape that you can. And by doing that, you not only mentally gain, you're not only mentally gaining each other energy, but you also actually physically gain energy. Like, you will feel more energetic. And whether that's to do with a mental aspect, or just looking at yourself in the mirror and seeing an absolute shredded beast, or whatever, it's all good. However it works, it doesn't fucking matter. The point is that you've probably felt like you can get yourself out of this rat race. But I'm telling you what you're missing, brother, and it's the body. It's getting yourself in the best shape. Because when you can prove to yourself that you can do that, it's the highest form of self-love. And when you are not willing to have low standards for yourself and for your body, you're not going to accept them in your career. And usually what that's going to mean is a lot of the time you're just not going to want to work with people, because when you get yourself in shape at like 10 to 12%, most people aren't there. You're not average at that point, at least from a physique standpoint, literally. This isn't me trying to sound cocky, this is just facts. So with that being said, what do you think is going to happen if your standards are at the level that you're at in terms of your physique? Every other level of your game needs to match that pretty much. So this is why I'm saying now, this is why I have the confidence to say I don't need a backup plan. I'm going to figure this out. Even if I won't break for a while, I'll figure it out, because I know that I'm on the right path with personal training stuff and creating this channel and starting these videos. It just speaks to me. It's just what I want to do, and I want to do it even if no one watches, because I'm only going to get better. I'm only going to prove more to myself. And how can you not die a happy person believing that, even if you don't become rich and successful? But I also feel like you can become rich and successful doing that. It's just not a matter of if, it's a matter of when, really. And it's also a matter of being persistent, but also persistent, but also self-aware enough to realize when you should make tactical changes to actually get yourself ahead in terms of, changing up how you're delivering content or whatnot. Like, you have to be smart in terms of that too, of course, but for the most part, self-belief will carry you a long way, and energy will carry you a very long way, because all any of that is, it's an exchange of energy between people. And if you've got a surplus of energy to give to the world, well, you're in a great position where you can only really get and you can only really get to your true source. You may have energy now, but you're fat, you're not in the shape you want to be in, you're pudgy, you've got some love handles. When you get yourself in that elite athlete 10 to 12% body fat range, man, your energy is just going to be exponential. And like we said, energy equals value equals money. So the capability you have to make money is going to be exponential. When you bet on yourself like this, it's just like I said, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. But you have to get your body there. And because that takes discipline. That takes you saying to yourself, I'm going to commit to this for, depending on where you're at, it could be 4 months, it could be 6 months, it could be 9 months, it could be a year. But either way, if you're persistent enough to stick that out, you gain just a whole new level of confidence, and more importantly, a whole new level of energy. And you can use that energy to help start escaping the rat race. I mean, that's what I'm trying to do now, so we'll see how we go, but I couldn't have been on this journey, I couldn't have even started this channel, or at least had this name change recently and started making more of these videos centered around what I truly think is very important for other people to hear. I feel like there's a real knowledge gap about this stuff when it comes to mindset about fitness and how it actually impacts everything else. People probably looked at it more for aesthetic wise back earlier on, I feel like. Whereas now, I don't know, I feel like people still do that, but there's a whole other market that's coming in where it's like, it's mindset. It's like, it's not just that, We know that it was a bit of mindset, but you don't realize how much of this fitness change is just identity shift and mindset. And that when you can do that, it just affects so much other areas. And it gives you the confidence to go affect those areas, because you still have to put in the work. But it's a lot easier to put in the work because you're motivated, you have the energy, you're confident, you know what path you're on, right? So, yeah, if you need help, if you want to start having that energy to get out of that race, maybe you're good. Maybe you've got a nest egg, but you're like, nah, I've got a nest egg, but I'm not happy with my body. I need to get my body right, and then I'm really going to go for what I want to go for. I'd love to help you get in that shape, and we can do it together. Like I said, there's no pressure. All it is smart, small, consistent changes. This is what I said to my mate. I said, when you start this, it's smart, small, consistent changes, and really we're starting off with identity shifts. We're not really focusing on getting in the weight room straight away. We're focusing a bit on the nutrition, but we're really focusing more on those identity shifts and the mindset changes that need to occur before you start. We're going to set you up for success. That's what I want to do with Second Form Strength. So, if you'd like some help, you can message me on here, you can leave a comment, but realistically the best way is to DM me on Instagram, type in Second Form Strength, okay? You can send me a DM, a message on there, and I'd love to help you. So, until the next video, guys, have an awesome day/night. I'm gonna maybe play a little bit of Crimson Desert and then hit the bed, hit the sack, hit the hay, however you want to say it, and get ready for the next 2 days at work, and then enjoy those next 5 days off. But it's not going to be full enjoyment, although it will be, because I'm going to be working on myself, working on my PT course, and working on more videos for you guys, getting more info out there, growing the channel, making more connections. This all needs to occur, but I didn't have the energy for this before. I would never be talking like this before. You can go look at my videos from, I don't know, 6 months ago. Just look at the difference in how I was talking, like, just my demeanor, okay? Not only, obviously, the actual visual changes, but yeah, like, you know. And I was younger then than I was now, but I feel like I'm so much more energy, so trust me, like, that is one of the biggest gains you get from this. I won't even say focus, do it for the six-pack. I'll say that's a nice benefit, but do it for the energy that you get that allows you to go change all the other things in your life that you want to change. So, yeah, like I said, Second Form Strength on Instagram, DM me if you need help. Other than that, peace out. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.